I think there's something very fascinating about this fruit. This fruit came from South America. It's grown in the Amazon. Comes from the Tupi word Cashew. Traveled all around the world. Grown in Africa, grown in Southeast Asia, grown in South America. But I think its fortunes completely changed in Goa. There's a maverick character about cashew as a product that kind of is very alluring. No matter who you are, if you've tasted, you cannot give up that taste. We started this brand in the 80s. It was perfectly fine. It was a reasonable Feni. And Feni at that time in the 80s was a different product. It was essentially a product that was taken in plastic bottles for Goans who liked it. I realized that it was a flagging part of the family business, and my dad said that he was going to shut down the business because it was not profitable. So I said, it's such an old business, how can it shut down? So I took it upon myself to say, let's reinvent it. So this place is completely different at night. The lights change, the character changes as well. Today is not only about Feni, but it is about the culture that brings people together for Feni. So for almost the first 1 year, we throw these big grand dinners where we would have a meal, a barbecue, Feni cocktails. And that's when I came out with the first concept of a distillery tour. Today is a celebration of what we have and what we've had. And what we have in this distillery is almost like an amphitheater for us. For us, this is the stage where we perform. I took the group from point A, where they're drinking cocktails, to a point B, which was in the distillery. And from there, I took you to the cellar. I wanted the greens and the blues and the browns and the clear glass just to pop out into your eyes. And it was fantastic. It worked on for a year, and we were ready to go. Now we had the pandemic, everything is stopped, no confined spaces, so no cellar tastings. We can't do big gatherings of 8-9 people. And so we had to go back to the drawing board. I was floundering again, I had no clue what to do, started thinking, but I suddenly had this idea. I said, let me give you a surprise. And I took them to the water and I said, let me do a tasting there. And I said, it'll add a new visual element, but also give you a sensory element as well. We don't add yeast, we don't add nutrients, we don't add catalysts, we add nothing to it. So now we're going to convert it into wine. So now that we've taken juice from there, this juice is also very high in sugar. It's got about 16% sugar, almost the same as toddy. When people come, we take them to the distillery, we show them the distillery, then we take them into the farm, show them a little about the tree and talk about the physiology of the tree. We pick up a cashew. It's called the Anacardium occidentale. Anacardium because it looks like a heart. And then when you've seen all this, seen the perspective of the plant and the fruit and everything, then we take you straight into the water. We had this group walk down, and I kept the table in such a way that you cannot see that table and the setup until you reach there, until you cross that corner. And so you're walking down, you look down and suddenly you turn and you're like, wow, your eyes become, it's kind of a shock.
Ah, that's why the spice.
So we keep it for at least a year. It can be older as well, but this is a 2021 vintage. Try it. Imagine doing a tasting and I say it smells like oranges, and imagine if you had an orange just that you could pick up and smell that orange and know for yourself, because food corresponds with smell, and this is something that everyone can relate to. And so it was the easiest relatable thing to Feni, because Feni is very complex, and how do you explain a complex thing to someone else? So we just put a sensory platter, and then it had a sensory element. You're sipping in water, and you had a taste element as well. We started realizing that people wanted to learn more about Feni. I think that was the tipping point when that happened, because it's opened the floodgates to everyone now looking at Feni from a different perspective. We were rated 2021 by Money Control, a publication in India, as the best experience in Goa, and I'm happy. We were now interested in investing into education of Feni. Every spirit takes trouble to explain what itself. Blue cheese will talk about blue cheese and make it even though it stinks, they tell you it's a fantastic product. Caviar, all these things are very exclusive, exotic products, but every culture has taken trouble to explain that. And I believe that time Feni needs to take that trouble.